Right, we talk about berms and riding berms a lot, riding them fast. But when it comes to a flow trail where there's a number of berms, especially like there's a berm to berm, then an obstacle just on the outside of it. Right, it's all about line choice when you're riding these three obstacles, because you don't want to lose all your speed on the first one and miss out on the second one. So what you want to do is come in about midsection on this berm, keep your speed, and this gives you a chance to glance ahead to see your exit of that first berm and see into the second berm. And what you want to do, especially when you're exiting this berm, it's all about flow, so don't stiffen up because you want to let your bike go from one to the other, like that. On the next berm, you don't want to hit this one low. You want to keep in the middle of the berm because you don't want to lose your speed because there's an obstacle coming up. Right, when it comes to the last obstacle on this little flow trail from berm to berm, and then you've got this little gap jump here, when you haven't generated all your speed, you're not going to clear this if you haven't got the right line choice. But when you've got the line choice and you've generated all your speed through and out of this berm, this little bit here is a little bit tricky because you're going to jump out of a turn, so your body's going to be all on an angle because it's not a straight jump. So what you want to do is just relax, let your bike drift out, and then continue through the trail. Don't fight it, just keep on top, keep the flow going. Right, look, we've got a huge berm right here that you can rail and come into it flat out. And line choice, again, is crucial when doing this because you want to continue that speed through there and keep your flow going. But in front of this berm is a huge tabletop. Right, as you can see, it's a huge tabletop. You've got two lines coming into it. You've got a big line and you've got a small line right here. But you can see it's all about line choice. All these carve marks are pointing up the bank. Even though it's a right-hander, what you want to do is come into it quite high so you can continue that speed through that berm. You don't want to cut a shortcut and square off that turn because you're going to lose your flow and you're going to lose all your speed for that next jump.
So one of the features you find on a lot of flow trails is rollers. Really exciting feature. Pump them, manual them, jump them. One of my favorites is the manual. So manualing rollers, exactly the same technique as doing it on flat ground. Coming into these with good speed, getting that weight back over the back wheel, leaning back, covering that back brake all times, picking up the front wheel, pushing that back end through, hanging off the back of the bike, anticipating what the bike's going to do as it drops into the compression. So you really need to make that shape with your body and push that bike through, and just bringing the front wheel in to meet the top of the landing on the last roller. Okay, so a lot of people can roll the two rollers, but linking more than two is actually pretty tricky. A lot of mistakes people are making is as they peak over the second roller, is their weight will be too far forward as they're coming into the compression, so it'll actually let the bike and the front end drop. Another mistake would be not pumping the downslope, so you're losing the pump of the back wheel into there, again letting that front wheel drop. What you really need to do is anticipate what the rollers are doing to your bike and just keep pumping that back wheel through and just looking ahead and keeping that same balance point. Sometimes helps even to look at your front wheel just to keep that level, keep those bars exactly where they are. If you're there in that same position and pumping with those legs, keeping that weight back, you will get through the rollers.
So landing on the right line on a jump is really important, but also trying to clear that jump and land at the top of the downslope is really key to keeping your speed for maybe the next obstacle, which could be another bigger jump. So I guess you'll have to judge this on the way in unless you've ridden that trail a few times. So just trying to look towards a landing and decide whether you need to pop to make the height, to clear to land to that nice spot, or occasionally you're gonna have to soak that jump up. So to squash a jump, you need to let the bike come up to you on the takeoff. You're trying to take as much of that lift out of that lip as possible. So let your arms come up to you as your front wheel hits that takeoff. And as your rear wheel rolls up, soak your legs up as well. As soon as you're in the air, you've soaked up takeoff, now get ready to push the bike back down to the landing. And the opposite of that is where you need to make height on a jump. So this is where you get a great pop on the takeoff. So pump into the face of that jump, get back behind the bike to drive the front wheel up and into the air, and then lift the rear wheel. You're going to make the height, and therefore you're going to make the length to clear that bigger jump. So that was the flow trail at Windhill Bike Park, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Chris, for helping us, giving us pointers on manualing.
No worries. Click down here for more videos on how to manual.
over here for how to jump.
Don't forget to click this rad little globe and you won't miss another video just like this one, and give us a thumbs up like.